So I'm Alfred Yang. I'm the founder of proliteracy.ca. And before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to my co-founder, Scott Moore, hiding in the corner over there. So my presentation is entitled, Don't Wait for Perfect. Now, I grew up in an Asian family, and my mom keeps telling me, strive for perfection in everything that you do. But I took a different approach to business, right? My philosophy is, don't wait for things to be perfect, simply because you don't know what perfect is. And I'll elaborate in a little later part of the presentation. So a little bit about our business. We help organizations deliver digital financial literacy solutions to drive consumer engagement, customer engagement, and also employee engagements. So in short, we build digital solutions, including web and mobile applications and applications for retail kiosks to help organizations train and educate their consumers about financial literacy. So essentially, that's what we do. We were founded just a bit over a year ago in 2015. Currently, we have 3 foundational clients, and we completed the development of our technology platform. And we were able to establish a pretty healthy sales pipeline over the past 12 months. And we were featured in major publications, including the Globe and Mail, and a journalist at the Toronto Star also wrote about us. And we're collaborating with various high schools to educate students around personal finance. So we started 12 years ago, and I think we wouldn't have come this far if we've waited for everything to be perfect before we started to talk to people. So here we are today. We have a financial literacy platform. We started this idea as part of a hackathon event that was sponsored by the federal government. At the time, we essentially developed an application that helps students and parents in Canada plan finances for post-secondary education. And through a series of learning, we've evolved our business to a financial literacy platform tackling a broader market. And I'm going to take you through that journey, but in a sense, this is where we are today. So again, don't wait for perfect, because simply we don't know what perfect is. And with any business, it starts with an idea. So and every business needs to evolve that idea into a valid business model. And a large part of it entails finding a repeatable solution to a problem that allows you to build a profitable business. So simple enough, right? From an idea to a business model, except in reality, the path looks more like this. So, and I've talked to a number of entrepreneurs and startups in my lifetime and found that the majority of startups, at least the ones that I've encountered, fail because they can't weather the path, the rigid path of going to the business model. And a lot of business, just couldn't weather the storm. And, it is quite a roller coaster ride, as, I'm sure all our entrepreneurs will tell you today. And it's really about, finding a way to a sustainable model that works, that allows you to scale the business in a profitable fashion. And we spent about 12 months doing it, and I'm convinced that we're still searching. And it's very important to talk to potential clients, even if you're early, in my opinion. And you don't need a product, you don't need a service. You can start approaching potential clients with just an idea. Present whatever you can, through whatever vehicles you have. It could be a simple conversation, it could be a presentation, it could be a simple prototype of the product. But the last thing you want to do is wait for months and months for your product to evolve just to find out that it's the wrong product or service. So it's very important to solicit feedback early on in the process. And don't be afraid of criticism, and don't be afraid of people copying your ideas, because I'm truly convinced that no one is as passionate about as yourself with regards to the idea, and no one is going to exert the same level of energy to execute. So don't be afraid of people copying your idea. I think the upside of getting feedback is, far outweighs the risk of people infringing your idea or, taking your idea to the next level. So I think that's the number one rule is, identify a general target audience. And it's okay if it's not the right target audience. It can evolve, but find, a general direction and start talking to people about it. So that's my rule of thumb, and, it doesn't have to be perfect. So we've talked to over 50 organizations since the inception of the company. We've talked to all 5 of the major banks in Canada. We're in late stage discussions with 2 of the 5 banks. And we started this conversation 12 months ago, right? So imagine if we wait for the idea, wait for the product to be perfect, then talk to the banks, we'd be 12 months behind. And we wouldn't have any, cash flow to sustain our business. Right now we have 3 clients. We're cash flow positive, and and it's it keeps the business going while we're learning and evolving the ideas at the same time. So it's okay to so that it's okay if you don't have the perfect solution, and talk to people about it because it may be better than the next best thing. It may be better than any alternative that's out there. And if it's not good enough, if it's not a viable solution, you find out early. The benefit of finding out early, it's immense because the cost of retracting early on is so much less than just spending 12 months in development or evolving your product or service just to find out it's the wrong thing you're offering to customers. So either way, it's an upside to talk to people early and engage your market early on. And I've spent 16 years in enterprise sales. I've been in the software industry for 16 years now. And one thing I learned is that sales can take a long time, especially when you're trying to do business with large organizations. So it's to your advantage to start early and get the conversations going. I mean, we've talked to the banks for the past 12 months, and we're still talking. And I'm convinced that it will still take more time to for us to do any business with them. So it definitely helps to get a head start. And if you don't have a product, I think it's okay to offer services as long as you're tackling an important problem. So if the problem you're tackling is an important one, trust me, your clients, your potential clients, will pay money in order to solve that problem. And you may not have an out-of-the-box solution to present to your customers, but it's okay. Offer your time, offer your services to help solve that problem. And in my opinion, for a young company, the learning is far more valuable than the revenue that you take in from any type of engagement. So I think it's to your advantage to engage customers early and just learn from the process by working collaboratively with them. So this is our 80-20 rule, right? So the real work that happens actually is only 20% of our time. So when I say real work, is work that generates revenue, right? So product development and services delivery, it's maybe 20% or even less of our time. The vast majority of the time for a young business is the hustle, what I call the hustle, right? So larger part of it is just reaching out to people and networking and finding the right team. I met Scott just over a year ago, right? And I'm so happy that I went out to an event to meet people because I wouldn't have gotten Scott on board with us. Talk to your users, ask your customers, ask them what they think about your product or service. Do events like this, public speaking, and also creating content to attract your potential target audience. And my story from early on was that we started at a hackathon, and from the hackathon we were introduced to the FCAC. This is the Federal Consumer Branch of the Canadian government. Through the FCAC, they introduced us to a number of organizations, including the Canadian Bankers Association. Through the Canadian Bankers Association, we got introduced to pretty much all the banks in Canada. And to get to a target audience, it could take layers and layers of networking. So it takes up a lot of time. And we still have ongoing meetings. We have about 2 meetings every week at least. and it takes up a lot of time and a lot of preparations. So for an early company, I don't think this is out of the ordinary. And if you're just hiding in your office, developing your product, developing your message, I honestly think it's a waste of time. You need to get out there and get feedback, and on your way there, you'll actually get some potential business. So it's definitely to your advantage to get out there and hustle. So moral of the story, don't wait for perfect. In my world, waiting for the perfect moment is really just an excuse to procrastinate. Talk to people about it. It's okay if it's not perfect because you don't know what perfect is. Thank you.